He is the source of my strength.
Yes, he is.
Lord, let the words of my mouth,
Yes,
meditation of my heart, be acceptable in the sight. Let no flesh glory in the midst of this worship encounter. Send the anointing today that make preaching easier. Speak, Holy Ghost, speak. There are ears of anticipation ready to hear what heaven has to say. When it's done, we'll take no credit. You get all credit. You get all glory. I want to look at Luke chapter 15. If I can look at Luke chapter 15, my verse for preaching is verse 25, but I want to look at verse 11 first. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, give me my portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided it unto them his living, his 2 sons. Verse 25 for the sake of time. Now his elder son was in the field, and as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. What is going on at the house? And he said unto him, thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. Your daddy is celebrating because he didn't know where your brother was, but he know now your brother has been killed, and he found cause for celebration. And he was angry and would not go in. He wouldn't go in the party. Therefore came his father out and entreated him.
Yes, sir.
And he answering said to his father, lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandment. Daddy, I had gone against you, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this boy come, which had devoured thy living with harlots, been in the streets, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf, you celebrate the loser. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. But this is thy brother. Thy brother was dead and is alive and was lost and now found. And you mean to tell me that you're angry that I'm celebrating your brother,
All right.
you need to do better. I want to talk about this morning, lost at the house.
That's gospel.
Thank you, Lord.
That is gospel.
Lost
Oh.
at the house. Give the Lord praise if you will. I'll be done when I get through.
It's Father's Day. Take your time.
Many times, Luke chapter 15 is preached, much focus is placed on the son who left the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is a fact that this text has much to do with the lost. However, everybody who lost don't leave. The correct interpretation is that Jesus is speaking about lost people.
Yes, sir.
Beloved, the Pharisees and the scribes were upset that Jesus was hanging out, according to verse 1 and 2, with sinners. Don't hear much of that when you hear this message.
Right.
But Jesus was hanging out with sinners and the religious people. You could be religious and not be righteous. The religious people were angry because Jesus was hanging out with lost people. So Jesus spoke parables in this chapter to confront the hardness of their religious hearts against lost sinners. The enemies of Jesus were criticizing him because he received sinners. They were stunned that such a guy like Jesus would hang out with such a group of unimportant people, so they thought. In response, Jesus tells them in Luke chapter 15, 4 stories, or shall I say 4 parables.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All stories, all parables are designed to teach us great truths.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you hear of a parable, it's more to it than what you hear. Just as today, it's more to it than about these boys, but it's about you. These boys represent man, but their father represents God. I said these boys represent you and I, man, but their father is a man of love. He represents God. And let me say, although the scribes and Pharisees are upset with Jesus for hanging out with sinners, everybody is somebody in the sight of God. Let me make sure I make that clear. Because too many times we tend to think that if a person doesn't have what we have, they're less than we are. But see, you can have the stuff, but if you don't have the sustainer, you have nothing to sustain you when you are without the stuff. And you can have stuff, but never have peace. Because a life apart from the Father result in loss and being lost and being without contentment. You know, one of our problems in life is we seek it and we forget about Him. But according to the 33rd verse of the 6th chapter of Matthew, He told us that if you would get me, the things will come after you get me. Now let me say this for preaching power. You can have the stuff, but just give me the Father. And all of the benefits that come with the Father outweigh all of the stuff that you have. Because the Father can give me stuff. But if He don't give me no stuff, if I just get Him, I find out I don't need the stuff. Come here, woman that met Him at the well. He said, come and get a drink of me. And if you get a drink of me, you will never thirst again. When you get Christ in your life, give you contentment. So this parable tells us that every soul is precious in the sight of God. Chapter 15 deals with the lost sheep, the lost silver. Luke 15, start with verse 11, deal with the lost son. Everybody deal with the lost sheep in Luke 15. Everybody deal with the lost silver. And everybody deal with the lost son. But I want to deal with the lost sibling. He was lost. I said the lost sibling was the one that didn't leave. The younger son did mess up. Because he did two things. First of all, he left his father. He rebelled and he journeyed to a far country. And not only did he leave his father according to the text, but he lived a worldly life. He lived for the pleasures of the world. Because the scripture says that he got his money and he went out and spent it on riotous living. Riotous mean he was loose. Riotous mean he was extravagant. Riotous mean that he started to live reckless. Might I add, verse 12, by law, the younger son would receive 1/3 of a father's inheritance, and the older son would receive 2/3 of the father's inheritance. But they would only receive their inheritance after the father was dead. So not only did he leave his father and did he live worldly, but let me interject this. He was disrespectful to his father. Because really what he said was, Daddy, I wish you were dead. He really said that if you just give me my stuff, it is as if you are dead to me. Little sisters and brothers, be careful how you leave home. For that matter, be careful how you go to people about things, because just as you go to a person, one day you just might have to go back down that same road. That's why I say to you as parents this morning, stop downing your children. Because you has absolutely payback. God is showing you how messed up you were when you were a child, so you will have to relive it through your own children. Be careful how you go through life. You never know how you will get it back.
All right, Pastor. All right.
No, little Pooh, cute. She demonic like you used to be. I know you love him, but he's a reflection of you, and that's why you got to watch who you lay up with, because you can't lay down with a monkey and expect to develop a bear. So you got to be careful, because let me tell you something. In that hour of pleasure, contraceptives are good to a certain degree. But one thing there is no contraceptive against is demonic spirits. Family curses. It won't help that. I wish I had help with me. I know I would knock your socks off and you want to stop this. He says, Father, I wish you were dead. He got his stuff. He wasted it. Luke 15 through 17, verse 15 through 17. He ended up in a low place.
All right, come on now.
He went into a far country. A Jew was forbidden by law to be attached to a Gentile, which a Gentile is what he meant in a far country. He went into a far country. At his dad's house, he's a prince. But the prince now ends up in the hog pen. Because he couldn't control his wastefulness. And he ended up in a hog pen. Do you not know every hog pen is not money? Some of you are in the hog pen. I got a preacher friend right now in the hog pen because he always try to get over on others. But when you always try to scheme, because he owe me $400 now, when you always try to scheme and connive people, you can always get stuff, but you won't ever keep it, because when you get it wrong and when your motives are wrong, you can find no peace. God will not let you get ahead while you're trying to get over on other people. You can't make it in life. You keep using people who are trying to help you. You keep mistreating people who are trying to help you. And let me tell you this, sisters and brothers, you got to stop letting folks use you as well. Because yes, there's a time to say yes, but God will give you the right time to tell some of these Negroes no. He got his money. I'll get to what I'm saying in a minute. I'm just trying to introduce it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He went to a far country. He ended up in a low place. He ended up in the hog pen. He ended up in the valley of life.
All right, all right.
What is the best thing to do when you end up in the low place of life? Help me, help me. This boy had more sense than you. He had more sense than a lot of people I know. Tell you what he did. Yes, he disrespected his father. Yes, he wasted his money on harlots, on riotous living. He did that. Yes, he was guilty of being wasteful of his inheritance.
Yeah.
But verse 17, he did what everybody ought to do. He came to himself. You know what the problem of our modern day church? You know what it is? We have a problem because people are so caught up in themselves. And until you come to yourself, you will be caught up by your own self and can't make it nowhere. He is, shall I say, a clear picture of the lost and found. Sisters and brothers, let me just interject this for preaching power. When you try to live life without the Father, he had it made at home, but he left the Father. No matter what you have in your bank account, don't leave the Father. No. No matter how beautiful people are telling you that you are right now, your looks gonna fade. Don't leave the Father. Yeah, I know they're paying you more money than you ever thought you would ever make on your job, but still, don't leave the Father. I know you live in a different house now. You got a different strut now. You wear different stuff now. You even got a different wig now. But don't leave the Father. Let me tell you this. You can't make it without your Father. Boy, I wish you're happy with me. I said, you can't make it without the Father. The scripture says it's in him that I live. It's in him that I move. It's in him that I have my being. Let me prove that you can't make it without him. Who put you to bed last night? The Father did. Who woke you up this morning? The Father did. While you tossed and turned throughout the night, the Father dispatched angels to watch over you. And so he gave you a new song all night, all day. The Father sent angels to watch over me. Thank you, Father. Youngest boy, I'm nearing the close. Youngest boy was considered a rebellion.
Go ahead.
Made a selfish request, lived a ruined life, but he returned. He repented, and he was restored. Oh, I'm happy this morning that God is so loving. You can go out in life and mess up from the floor. And you don't have to wipe the mud off you from the pen. He'll accept you just as you come. Thank God I came to him with mud on me. Mud between my toes, mud in my hair, mud on my elbows. But thank God he knows how to clean your muddy self up. Thank you, God. He returned. Went back. And as he was on his way, the Father saw him. The Father never left home. The boy left home. But although the Father never left, he stayed with anticipation and he saw him coming. Can't you see him saying, look at my son. Muddy, but he my son. Isn't that love? See, one thing I like about real love, see, y'all got this old new 2019 jump. It ain't no love, it's lust until. It's hard to build a church now because it's called lust until. I love you, Pastor, until I repented, he was restored. Because he returned, because he repented, he was restored. When he gets to the Father, he gets a ring, he gets a robe, and he have a reception. Good God Almighty. I said he get a ring, he get a robe, and they have a reception. There is a kill the fatted calf. The younger son is a human display of what love, forgiveness, and restoration look like. But the older boy is a picture of the Pharisees and scribes found in Luke 15, verse 1 and 2. I didn't forget about it. Look at three things in the older boy. His anger, his accusation, and his action. Look, sound like people in church today, doesn't it? The oldest son represents the self-righteous religiousness, the just, the good, the man who hasn't committed gross and visible sin. People think because they hadn't got caught up in nothing that they are more valuable than people who got caught. That's why some of y'all ladies, stop talking about these young ladies who get pregnant out of wedlock, because you did too. But some kind of way you were forced to get married. So now you've been living 43 years in misery. Because if a poll really is taken about how many people are happily married, I'm afraid you may have 100 marriages, but out of those, a very small percentage will really say just how happy they are, because some folks stayed together because they didn't want their family to look bad. That's why you got to be careful what you ask for. When you praying for a spouse, say, Lord, give me who you want me to have. You got to be careful talking about, I want him tall, I want him God, I want him handsome, I want him like this, I want him like that. God may give you somebody who's drunk. He's a drunk, he ain't about nothing now, but if you stick with him and keep praying for him, God knows how to clean people up. He'll get them from the hog pen and make them prince and love for you. I know he will do it. He feels his older boy represents scribes and Pharisees. Feel like they're acceptable to God. And to put it into a simple format, many of you are like the older brother. Upset because God is blessing others. I wish you had help it with me. Oh, I came to let you have it this morning. People are upset because God is blessing others. Why you mad because somebody else got something? Don't you know God got a blessing with your name on it too? People who don't like when prodigals come home. People who don't like to see others happy. So a lost son wasn't the lost sibling. He was lost in his own right, but he came to himself. But the other son, who stayed home, he was in worse shape than the one who left. Have you got a witness? Might I add, there are people in church carrying big Bibles, singing Zion songs, praying good prayers, pray stuff like I'm an empty pitcher standing before a full fountain, and they've been empty a long time and still empty. closing, and I'm done.
Take your time.
Verse 25, the 8th clause. Look at the position he had in the family.
Yeah.
He didn't even know he had it all together. See, you spending too much time around here complaining about what you don't have. But you better start thanking God about what you do have. You around here complaining about your neighborhood and you complain about your house. But if you drive down 55, every now and then you see people pushing baskets and they got all they have in the front of them. But you may not live in the greatest neighborhood, but thank God you don't have to stay in the outside. Thank God that you're blessed. And you want to walk around here complaining. You're around here complaining about you ain't got no new shoes and somebody don't even have feet to put new shoes on. You blessed and you ought to know it. The position he had in his family. He was in a position of privilege because he was the elder brother. He get 2/3 of the father's possession. Then not only that, but when the father dies, he will be the head of the family. Oh, he blessed and don't even realize it. Every time I find myself trying to walk around and complain, I find myself finding more reason to be thankful than I do to be ungrateful. Well, let me just put it to you this way. I can't pay the law. But every now and then I like to pause and tell him, thank you, Lord. Thank you. He's in the position of privilege. But then he is in a position of productivity. When we first meet him, he's out there in the field. He stayed home to keep up the family business. So he's in a position that really held the family together and he didn't even know it. But then not only did I see the position he had in the family, but I kept reading and I saw the problem he had with the festivities. See, he had a problem with his motives. When the boy hears there is a celebration, he is angry and he refuses to go in. But look at how his father is again a picture of our Heavenly Father. Although he refused to go in, the father didn't refuse to go out. See, you got to understand the picture that's being painted. See, even if you don't come to Jesus, Jesus know how to come to you. Oh, I wish you'd help me with that. And I don't know who I'm talking to this morning, but you ought to be excited that one day Jesus came to you. Yes, Lord. His father comes out and pleads with him to come in. His reply is the telling of his heart in verse 29. He reminds the father of his faithful service. Then he starts to complain, Father, I've never given you any trouble. And you never celebrated me like this. This reminds me of the 2019 Baptist Church. We can't rejoice when the church grows. We can't rejoice when backsliders come and join the church. We take it for granted that new converts come, but the Bible says heaven rejoices over one soul. And if heaven can rejoice, we ought to be rejoicing. People don't care about God's will being done as long as it don't run and ruin their personal agenda. Well, that's the problem with today's church. We got too many agendas. And we don't have one common goal. See, an agenda is what you want it to be. But a common goal is, I I'm seeking to please the Lord and please him only. So the position he held in the family, but then I saw the problem he had with the festivities. But then verse 28 and verse 31 and 32, I saw the petition he heard from the Father. The Father praised his boy for his efforts. He said, verse 31, you are always with me.
Yes, Lord.
The eldest son mustn't have an idea that the daddy loved him like he did. See, it's too many times you looking next door when you got some blessings at your door too. He revealed the oldest son blindness, and it was a petition of priorities. The father tells the boy that it was neat that they should have the celebration. The word neat means it is necessary. The father, to the father, the return of his son was a reason to celebrate.
Yes, sir.
He said, your brother was dead. Your brother was lost. But your brother has returned. You ought to be excited that your brother has come back home. Don't you be like the oldest son. Lost and at the house. Meaning don't come to church every Sunday. Still lost. Don't come to Sunday school every weekend. Still lost. Don't come to Bible class and prayer meeting and still lost. Don't learn scriptures to quote and still lost. Don't be a hypocrite. Be for real. Whatever you do for the Lord, be for real when you do it. So that God can get all of the glory. His son was at the house. He was lost. And my question to you is, are you in the house? And if you're in the house, are you lost? Or are you like the other son? Have you been found? You can look found. Bible under your arm, but hate in your heart. You can look found. Hidden agendas and ulterior motives. You can look found. But one of these days, we have to step off this balcony called life. Step down into the basement of eternity. And when we are done here, we have to lay down our swords and stick our sword in the sandy hill of time. And time that's been won't be anymore. We got to stand before God.
All right.
And hear him declare, well done. Or will he say, depart from me, ye worker of iniquity. And you'll say to him, Lord, I sung in the choir, but your heart wasn't right. Lord, I was one of the biggest givers in my church, but you gave to be seen. Lord, I was there every time the doors open. Yeah, you would get that door, but you never let me into your door. You never let me change your life. See, one thing I like about God, see, too many people want to remodel, but God said you need to make over. And thank God that when he changed you, he don't change it from the outside. Give me a regular house on the outside, but if the foundation is firm, it'll stand when the storm of life comes. Don't be lost.
Go ahead now.
I'm not lost. Thank God I've been found. like that older brother. But I'm like the baby boy. Let me tell you what I did. I came to Jesus. I wouldn't be Baptist if I wouldn't do it. I came. I came to Jesus. Muddy and I was. I came to Jesus. This is the heart I'm feeling like. I came to Jesus. And you know what I like about Jesus? You can come and down, but you won't leave it like you came. Oh, his arms are wide open. Ready to receive you. Oh, the door's open.